U.S. and Israeli leaders hold a crucial closed-door meeting in Washington, D.C. that lasts 3 hours. President Trump urges Prime Minister Netanyahu to continue negotiations with Iran over a nuclear deal. But the Israeli leader pushes for stricter, tougher measures, including halting Iran's missile program and cutting its support to groups such as the Hamas and Hezbollah. For its part, Iran again claims that it is not seeking a nuclear weapon. Aman Kumar Himanshu reports.
Tensions between the US and Iran remain high. US President Donald Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a high-stakes 3-hour meeting at the White House on 11 February. They held talks on Iran and Gaza. The meeting was noticeably low-key. Prime Minister Netanyahu reached the White House through a side entrance away from cameras. There was no joint press conference either. The subdued nature of the meeting underscored how complex and sensitive the Iran issue remains. But in a subsequent social media post, President Trump called it a very good meeting. He insisted that talks with Iran will continue to see whether a deal can be consummated or not. In a separate statement, Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said that the two leaders had discussed about the negotiations with Iran as well as developments in Gaza, and that they had agreed to continue their close coordination and relationship. On his 7th visit to the US since President Trump's return to office, Prime Minister Netanyahu was hoping to press the US leader ahead of the next round of talks between the US and Iran, following negotiations held on Tehran's nuclear program in Oman on 6 February. So he brought maximalist demands to the table. He pushed for a deal that goes beyond nuclear enrichment to include a total end to Iran's ballistic missile program and the cessation of support for regional proxies such as Hamas and Hezbollah. But it is not clear how much influence he has or will have over President Trump's approach towards Iran. Initially, the US leader threatened to take military action over Iran's crackdown on nationwide protests in January. Then he shifted to a pressure campaign to try to get Tehran to make a deal over its nuclear program. President Trump keeps reminding Tehran of US military resolve. He references Operation Midnight Hammer from June 2025 when the US struck Iranian nuclear sites after previous talks failed. He warns Tehran of similar strikes if it fails to reach a deal on its nuclear program. He has even spoken about sending a second aircraft carrier strike group to the region. At the same time, hopes that Iran would be more reasonable now. In an interview to Fox Business, President Trump said that a good deal with Iran would mean no nuclear weapons and no missiles, without elaborating. On 11th February, Iran marked the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution with mass rallies. President Masoud Pezeshkian reiterated that Iran was not seeking a nuclear weapon and that the country was ready for any kind of verification.
We are not seeking to acquire nuclear weapons. We have stated this repeatedly and are ready for any verification.
The International Atomic Energy Agency has been unable for months now to inspect and verify Iran's nuclear stockpile. In an interview, its chief said that the change in Iran's stance during these high-stakes negotiations would signal its willingness to embrace transparency. During his US visit, Prime Minister Netanyahu held talks with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and formally signed the charter to join the Board of Peace. This multinational body is designed to oversee the Gaza ceasefire and resolve other regional and global conflicts. The Israeli leader's stance on Iran is partly driven by compulsions of domestic politics. He faces pressure from far-right allies to ensure that Iran is permanently disabled as a regional power. Analysts suggest that toppling the Iranian government or securing a total capitulation would be significant political victory for Netanyahu ahead of potential early elections. Aman Kumar Himanshu for DD India.